Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Normal Isn't Necessary podcast. I'm your host, Gumball Head. This is Road Rants, where I tell you there's 67 miles in my gas tank until I have to stop and get gas. It's the 3rd of August, 2026. We're looking at 7:45 a.m. It's 68 degrees in Cincinnati, Ohio. Sky is blue, sun is out. Still a little cool. This morning I actually had a little fog on my windshield. Made it a little bit of a challenge driving into the sun, which is okay because it's still sunny out. But yeah, we're starting to see that weather change. Today I'm going to rant a little bit. I worked all weekend, throughout the weekend, off and on periodically on this and that and the other thing, trying to just catch up on the last couple of handful of items at work and that I neglected last week. Honestly, things that needed to be addressed that didn't get addressed, and I feel a little bit of guilt and shame, but there were other pressing things that needed to be addressed in the meantime that we allocated our attention to that were a little bit more imperative, which actually held us back a little bit on some other things. Hopefully I got us to where we can just focus on it and we're good to go. It was a challenging weekend for us in the parenting world. Our 4-year-old was a misbehaving monster the entire weekend. She struggled a little bit here and there with her behaviors and our expectations of her, and the wife and I, we kind of threw our hands up a little bit at a couple of moments, and we're just like, I don't know what to do. Do what we can, obviously, but behavioral struggles. They're not listening, not paying attention, not doing what she's asked, walking away during conversations. And this was a good opportunity to kind of put those things on lockdown as a result of her behaviors, because we need to lock that down early in life. If we don't get a handle on it, we don't address it early on, then we're going to have problems in the long run with her. And our 2-year-old is going to see these behavioral issues and capitalize on that and learn how to manipulate us as parents into getting what she wants, and watching the behaviors of the others, and getting what they want as well. So we can't allow that. We had to put a lockdown on it and trying to figure it out. But it's not simple. It's not a simple task, regardless of the type of parent you are. It's not simple to make those changes with people, with children, when there is lack of discipline. And I've tried it all, guys. I've tried the assertive parenting. I've tried the threats. I've tried the, soft parenting. I've done the hard parenting. The only thing I haven't done is spankings. I don't really believe in that. I don't believe that that's a change in behavioral. Only because I used to get the snot kicked out of me when I misbehaved. It worked, but fear tactics, It's ironic though, because if you look at me, I'm 47 years old. I'm in my prime, obviously, and looking back at my parenting style from when my parents were younger and when I was a kid, even though my parents whooped me and they punished me regularly, I turned out okay, but I think that related a lot to the empathy that I have for the children when it comes to punishment. I don't, however, believe in the whole coddling thing. That's an opinion, but looking at some of the studies over the course of the weekend while I was investigating and kind of looking into behavioral adjustments, there were some studies that I came across in some psychology websites about behavioral psychology relating to these kids, and you'd be interested to find that psychology plays a major role in a lot of the children's shows that are out there. A lot of those children's shows, the syndicated ones and the bigger ones, they have staff psychologists that assist with the behavioral psychology when it comes to holding children's attention. And not only that, but some of those psychologists go from television to universities, etc., and they teach these things. And when you see a dramatic pause children's television show, it does two things. And this is just an example of the things that I looked at. It does two things, though. Number one, the information that was given by whoever the host is on the children's television show, it gives the kids a moment to let that sink in. This color is red. Can you say red? Yay, good job. It's red. Red is the color of a tomato. Those types of things, they help and hinder at the same time. Number one, whenever you see something red, you're going to think that it's the same color as a tomato, right? Well, that's fantastic. However, is that confusing a child when they see a stop sign or a red ball or, a red square painted on the road? Are they going to think that's a tomato, or are they going to see it as the color red? Now, obviously, that's a little silly to think about, but on the flip side of things, how much of that psychology plays in? Does it help? Absolutely. It helps you identify the color and associate it with something that's familiar. But on the other side of things, you confuse that young mind at the same time. If it's a red tomato on the screen, say this color is red. This is a red tomato. That's how it should be, but it doesn't hook viewers as well as this is the color red. This is a red tomato. This is a red ball. This is a red stop sign. They skip that step because it's not as interesting as saying this is the same color as this is. Okay? So that association with the kid's brain and what they're watching, an association with the kid's brain in the real world, they're going to see that as this is the same color as a tomato, which is great. It's red. But they might get confused in a quick succession when they look and see what that is that they're identifying with. In this case, the difference between a tomato and a ball. You can eat a tomato, you cannot eat a ball. You can throw a ball, but you can't throw a tomato. So those are the types of things that these psychologists focus on and they capitalize on as a result of the opportunity to forge those small minds. The other side of that is there's that delay in those statements that, obviously they do that to let the information sink in, but that delay also, if you watch your child watch these shows, in that delay, the children are engaged, hanging on the moment, waiting for the next thing to be said by whoever is on the TV screen, whether it's a Sesame Street character or Miss Rachel or Blippi or whoever. That dramatic pause engages that viewer to maintain that. And if you think about it, you do 10 3-second dramatic pauses throughout the entire episode, you've got a half a minute made up of just silence. That delays the TV program as well. And your standard average TV program is about 22 minutes long with commercials involved. Okay? Not always the case, but a sitcom is typically anywhere from 19 to 25 minutes long on a 30-minute show. Again, because of commercials. But that also, there's filler involved. On a television program or a podcast or a radio station or a song, you don't usually have that dramatic pause inserted because they want to get as much information out there as possible. Not only that, but the advertisers don't want that dramatic pause because it costs them money. Now, the only time that larger television programs, or one of the only times that larger television programs utilize that dramatic pause is when there is actually something dramatic happening on the screen. But it is very consistent when it comes to children's TV shows because they want that child to be engaged. We've already gone through and made it past the Miss Rachel phase. And when our 4-month-old, 5-month-old, 4.5-month-old becomes to that age where they are going to watch that educational television stuff, we've already gotten past the Miss Rachel phase with everybody else. We're not going to utilize that television program as a catalyst for education for our child. It's not because we don't think that she's fit for TV, but we also don't realize, or we do realize, that a lot of the information that is on that show isn't very good. Now think about this. I saw also a I've seen it on TikTok, I saw it on Instagram, and I've seen it in other studies too, where they will do a TV show, there will be a YouTube, and you'll still have the voiceover of the entertained and engaging guests such as Miss Rachel or Blippi. I'm just using them as an example because they're identifiable. By the way, we don't think that those shows are bad. We've learned a lot from that, from those people, and our kids have learned a lot from those people, and they're fantastic educators. It's just there's better programming out there for kids. But people that are on the internet, they are not as, they don't care about the kids. And what they'll do is they will do the voiceover of the television show, and they'll put different things on as the video. We've learned that with some of the things our 6-year-old has watched, with their videos like Minecraft videos and stuff. They'll be talking about Minecraft, but they'll be showing something completely different. The thing about that is that is engaging the listening voice of the parents, so they think that the kids are watching wholesome television, and at the same time they may be showing visions of, adult content or death or dogs being, injured, or other things, and we hear a good, positive, uplifting, educational opportunity and allow our children to continue to watch it, while what they're seeing is horrific on the screen. So folks, just be mindful of those things that your kids are watching and the information that's out there, because not everything that you hear is actually what's being seen, and not everything that you see is, positive and educational. Keep your kids out of those headphones until they come to an age where they are capable of swiping through things and knowing the difference between right and wrong and the programming that they're allowed to watch. Be better parents. Keep an eye on things. Pay attention to what's going on. These podcasts are raw, by the way, and we do our very best to inform and educate and engage people as well. So we hope that you have a great day, have a great week. Until our paths cross, stay strong, stay focused, stay sober. Much love. We'll see you guys soon.